And recently, we have seen, for example, how a celebrity went online on her account, and she spoke about how she's battling mentally, and how she's not doing really well. And once again, I went online to observe the responses and the approach from the public. And you have one group that believes the fact that if you are a celebrity, if you're a public figure, I mean, you have all these accolades, you have the money, you have the titles, so you shouldn't be battling with mental health issues, because apparently the monies and everything can buy you happiness, and they can buy you anything in this world. So why would a powerful person like that come through and say, I'm struggling? And welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Mental Health Matters. This is a brand new episode, and of course, in this platform, we discuss all things mental health. We look at all the things that affect our mental health and how our mental health is affected, what we can do to better ourselves and take care of our mental health system. So this week, we are going to focus on cyberbullying and the realities of it, really, and what is cyberbullying, because we need to redefine it. It seems like we can't really tell the difference between bullying and something else, or bullying and trolling, for example. So I think it's very important that we look into it, because there are many things that are happening that people are choosing to sideline or turn a blind eye, because it's either they don't know how to deal with the situation, or they just are not willing to recognize the bullying that is taking place online every day. So let's get into it. I think it's really hard to define bullying in this era, because of a lot of things that are happening, a lot of communication that is happening online on social media platforms. We have a lot of, billions and billions, I don't even know how many people are online and constantly communicating daily. We've got influencers, we've got public figures, we've got significant people that we look up to, that we follow. And this has opened a whole portal, a whole world of just constant communication and freedom of speech. Or, I don't think I'll ever live in an era where there is this much freedom of speech. Growing up, yeah, I was a child, of course. Maybe I couldn't really catch what's going on, but I think in this particular era, the freedom of speech is above and beyond, really. And I cannot expect more than this in the next lifetime, if I still am alive. So all I'm saying is that we need to start distinguishing a few things, because every day we see how people are affected mentally by the things that are said online, by the things that other people do online to victimize or to hurt or to benefit or to gain something. Really, we don't know, but it's important for us to be able to tell the difference between bullying and just normal hating, or I don't like this or I don't like you type of a talk. So I think recently there has been a lot of things happening, especially particularly in South Africa, where I live. And I'm quite active on social media platforms, and I've seen how certain things played out, particularly to celebrities and public figures, and how there was a division when it comes to what people perceive bullying to be, especially towards influential people and public figures, and what people really think it is. It's like there's a group of people that think they have the facts and they have it all together. They know exactly what's going on. And then there's people that are just assuming what might be going on, but no, there's no clarity. So just to get into it, I remember a month ago. Actually, this started a long time ago. I am on Twitter, but I'm not very, active. I am quite observant because I'm constantly catching up on like current affairs and news and all sorts of things. And I noticed, this popular account with this beautiful lady, and of course I scrolled through the account, and I was like, okay, this is not quite my vibe. I don't like how she tweets, and I really am not interested in, that's not how I do it. So I follow my own whatever, my own crowd, and we have preferences. That's what I told myself. I told myself that not my vibe, but okay, she's quite popular, like 1 point something million followers. And I scroll through and I scroll through, and I couldn't find anything that I can relate to, but something in me kept on saying, it doesn't seem like the person who is tweeting is the person on the picture. It was giving male vibes. It was giving, okay, this is a man that is tweeting, or a guy. I don't really know, because of the language, because of the tone and the topics. When you explicitly describe women and say certain things that I can't even say like that, it just gave me a feeling that this might be a guy. And I thought to myself, oh, maybe the lady on the profile picture is the partner or the girlfriend, or I don't know, even maybe sibling or family. Sometimes you have people that will put up their family profile pictures of them, your family member, your partner, and so on. And so I moved on. But I was really bothered every time, because this person is always trending. There's a lot of followers and stuff. I'd be so bothered and like, wow, like what a pretty, beautiful person. But the tweets and the content, for me, it's just too much. Although I know that people that like that. So I moved away from, that thought and that moment. And when I moved away from that thought and that moment, one day, or on some day, like how I get a notification, and this is from the Penuel show, and I see a lady by the name of Bianca Costa, and I'm like, what is going on? Because this is the same lady, the beautiful lady that I saw on this particular account on Twitter. And I thought, I had that back and forth, whether this is the owner of the account, or this is the sibling or the friend or whatever. And I was shocked. Of course, I listened, I watched the interview. Penuel was interviewing Bianca Costa, and Bianca spoke about how she had her identity stolen from her. I was even more shocked. And in a nutshell, she was saying that this particular person doesn't know her. They don't know each other. They don't know anything about each other. So I got the confirmation that it's a he. He decided to steal her pic or her pic, and obviously create this account and so on, and attract people and followers and whatnot. But she goes on and she talks about how her livelihood has been affected. It's so difficult for her to, make moves in her career and get a job, get the kind of things that she studied for. I think, if I'm not forgetful, but of course I'll leave everything below so that we can, if you're interested, you can check out this interview and dive deep into it. But in a nutshell, she talks about how her livelihood has been greatly affected. It's been very difficult for her to make things happen in her career, in her life, because of the reputation that this guy has painted about her. It's so hard for people to believe that this is her tweeting all of those things, saying all of those things, doing whatever it is that he's doing. And she has difficulty trying to prove that that's not her, trying to prove that it's someone who stole her identity. And she goes and talks about how she tried to talk to this person, send some messages and so on. And I think a family member as well did the same, but he still refuses to drop the act and give her back her identity. I was so shocked, and I realized in that moment the effects of cyberbullying. I realized in that moment that any one of us could be in Bianca Costa's shoes, and how many more people, I mean, we don't know, we truly don't know how many others out there are going through the same thing or will go through the same thing, where someone is deliberately bullying you and stealing up to an extent where they steal your identity for their own benefit, apparently, so it really made me feel anxious, because I was just like, what is going on? And the point is, I feel like actually on both sides, both parties, both the bully and the victim, are going through it mentally. Their mental health is not balanced. Their mental health or their mental state is not going to be okay. Because number one, the victim is going through the bullying, of course, and she cannot put her life together. That is stressful. That is depressing. That can cause a lot of anxiety, so much fear. You can't put your life together because a stranger literally stole your identity. You can't prove your identity. That is a lot of harm to your mental health. And I couldn't imagine what Bianca is going through. On the other hand, I took the time to really analyze what could be going on with this kind of bully, or just bullies in general. And I think what comes to mind is the fact that bullies are insecure. And yes, it might sound obvious, but I don't think we take the time to really, really go parents used to think, because they didn't have the resources nor the awareness. They didn't have the time to be dealing with mental health issues, because they had to deal with colonization. They had to deal with segregation. They had to deal with slavery. They had to deal with so many things. There were, I literally believe there were no resources or time or the strength to process your trauma, to figure out as to how you can balance yourself and your mental health every day. So here we are. And am I saying that we don't experience racism? And that's not what I'm saying. But we are in this world where you can literally get hold of any piece of information. The freedom of speech in this era is on another level. You are able to voice out anything. You are able to at least get some guidance of some sort. But because we are not willing to deal with that, the generational trauma is going to continue. We are still going to think like our parents. We're still going to think, oh, if I could just get money, if I can just work 3 jobs, or I don't know, do something and get the money, then my life will be perfect. So that's the one group. The other group of people, you can see that these are people that are really trying to have an understanding of what is going on. They are showing compassion. They are showing empathy towards this particular person, even though they don't really know where to start. But you can see that there is an understanding, there is a relatability. They can relate because public figures are human beings. We all have those moments. We all have those days where your mental health is just, in a slump and you're not feeling good, and the next day you're great, you're good, you're on top of your thing. So there is a division in regards to what we understand our own mental health to be, because remember, the way you react towards someone who is opening up about their mental health is a reflection of what you think about your own mental health. So for me, that was a reflection of all of us. It just meant that there is a division. Parts of who we are, we still believe that, oh, if I can just get the bag, and if I can just get this, and I get that, and I get this car, and it's going to be okay. Everything's just going to be okay. We have, alcoholism, of course. Some people generally believe that, listen, I'm not drinking for entertainment or fun or whatever. I am just trying to drink to mask my problems, because when I am, on that level, then I feel good. It just makes me feel good, and I forget about all my problems. But guess what? You wake up the next day, the same damn thing is still in your face. So this was a big moment for me, and a big reflection of where we are. So I'd like to encourage us to just continue to think about the ways in which we interact online, and the information that we share, the information that we exchange, and how that affects the mental health of others as well as your own mental health. So thank you so much. It's always a pleasure. I will see you next time, and take care of your mental health.